Many people see a house like this and they see trash, but I see treasure. I have plenty of videos on my page where I turn trash houses just like this into money in my pockets. In this video, I'm gonna show you my exact investment strategies I use so you can do the same thing and make the best choice of your investment. So the very first thing that you want to do when picking out an investment property is you want to know what you're going to do with the property. And that's called your exit strategy. So the top 3 exit strategies that I use for an investment property are going to be 1, assignment, 2, fix and flip, and 3, keeping as a long-term investment or rental property. So my preferred exit strategy for this particular property would be to fix and flip it. And that's because all the work that it needs. We saw from the outside all the things that it needs. And then when we're walking through the inside, you're going to see all of the repairs that are going to be needed. And for me personally, if I'm going to put a lot of money into the property, I want to make that money back very quickly. And if I'm keeping it as a rental, it's going to take a lot longer to get my cash on cash return versus a flip. I can get that pretty instantly. When you're doing a flip, one thing that you're budgeting for is what your rehab expenses are going to be. So when you're budgeting for your rehab expenses, you really want to know what the main costs are going to be. One thing that can be super expensive is going to be your top and your bottom. I'll talk about your bottom first. Your bottom is your things such as your foundation. So your property, you want to know what is the foundation type. Is it a basement? Is it a slab? Is it a crawl space? This particular property is a crawl space. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but with this particular property, we already have some foundation issues literally the moment that we walk into the property. Like this one is all literally wavy. I'm off balance right now. So one thing I have to factor in is what's the repair going to be? Like I'm going to have to repair girders, structural beams. Am I going to have to get a structural engineer? That's going to cost money just to even get them out there in the first place. So remember, the bottom is one thing you want to evaluate, definitely, your foundation. Now, other things that you want to evaluate for your flip is going to be the living space. How is the space? Is it spacious? What's your square footage? All these things, because you want to evaluate what is the resale going to be. The smaller the property is, typically the longer it may sit on the market, the harder it may be to resale. But also you have to factor in the bigger the property is, the more money you're going to have to spend on your rehab. So the layout in the house is super important because remember, that affects the resale value of a house. If the layout is a little tighter, it may not be as appealing. So this particular home is a little bit over 1,000 square feet. So not bad, but as you guys can see, it's kind of weird because the house was originally built in 1904 and people were a lot smaller then and they didn't care about things like they care about now, such as an open layout. So personally for this property, one thing that I would do is I would take this wall out because right behind here we have our kitchen, but it's kind of enclosed space. And where we're at right now, we almost have 2 living rooms. So we kind of have empty dead space. So I would take that wall out, open the kitchen. One thing to factor in too is this property currently has 1 bathroom, 1 full bathroom. And this is the bathroom right here. Very awkward spot. Especially if your bedrooms are upstairs, you got to come all the way downstairs just to take a shower. Imagine if you got guests here. If this is your living room, you know, you got to go through the living room to take a shower. I'm not a big fan of that. So you'll see the kind of layout upstairs, but what I would do is add an additional bathroom to this property. Now let's head to the kitchen because the kitchen is one of the biggest pieces of a house, especially when it comes to resale. Be honest with y'all fellas. Women are the one who are going to make the main decision if you have a partner, right? They're going to make the main decision on the house. And one thing they really care about is the kitchen because they spend a lot of time in the kitchen. As a man too, if you spend a lot of time in the kitchen, that's perfect. You know, cook it up, chef it up, do whatever you do. That's great. So for this particular property, this kitchen is, it's older, right? Because this house is built in 1904 originally. So we have things such as like the washer is in here. There's not even a dryer. So what I would do is I will move this washer and dryer completely out of here. I will also do things such as installing a dishwasher, get it currently up to our standards because it currently doesn't have a dishwasher, replacing these appliances with stainless steel appliances, putting a microwave in that spot, tearing some of these cabinets out, and definitely removing this space because this wall right here, this isn't even load bearing, so it's not really going to take too much to get this wall out the way. And having that gone would open up the space tremendously and make it a very valuable home for somebody when they're touring the property. When I started out in real estate, I was a real estate agent mainly, and I was mainly working the buyer's side. So working the buyers, I toured a lot of homes. I gained an understanding of what buyers are looking for in properties. It's so cold in here, y'all can literally see my breath, right? And that's because this property doesn't have an HVAC installed. HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and cooling. So that's one thing that I would have to factor in for a flip, is installing an HVAC, installing central air heat pump, and that is your major systems. So your major systems is definitely something that you need to evaluate for when you're doing an investment property. What is the age of the systems? What is the condition? And so on and so on. Another major thing that you need to evaluate when it comes to systems is going to be your electrical panel. Now, if you see this electrical panel, remember this house is built in 1904, and the way this looks, it probably hasn't been upgraded since 1904. This is out of code. It's going to need to be upgraded. We're going to have to up the amperage and completely replace the electrical panel. Another major thing to factor for your systems is going to be your hot water heater. This house, I haven't seen a hot water heater in here, so got a budget for replacing a hot water heater also. So remember, the layout is a major thing that you want to evaluate for an investment property. And for this particular property, it's currently a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. I mean, it's 1,000 square feet, but the biggest issue with this one is there's only that 1 full bath downstairs. So as a real estate investor, to maximize my profit, I need to add an additional bathroom for this house, because to be honest with you, houses that sell faster are going to be 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So with this one being 2 bed, 1 bath, I at least need to add another bathroom to get it close to that 3 bed, 2 bath standard. Even though a walk-in closet is good, for this particular property, it doesn't serve too much of a purpose, and I can get more value by turning this walk-in closet into a full bathroom. And then I'll have a bathroom upstairs to make the layout a lot better. But remember, the layout is a really big thing, right? And the biggest issue for this particular property is there's no true primary bedroom. Even though there is 2 bedrooms upstairs, there's no true primary bedroom. That it would be something that would make me hesitate when purchasing this particular property. I mean, we can, convert this bedroom as much as we can. So the spacing in here is a little bit tighter. I would turn this room, instead of the other bedroom, into the primary bedroom. And to do that, what I would do is maximize the spacing in this room. So the way the layout is, there isn't too much that you can do, but what you could do right now, we kind of have double closets. I will remove this spacing here so I have 1 wider closet, because that is what people are looking for in their primary bedroom, is some nice closet spacing. So remember, as I talked about in the inside of the property, your top and your bottom is some of the main things that you want to evaluate for your investment property. So we talked about the bottom, which is your foundation, but we also need to talk about the top, which is your roof, your attic, things like that, right? So for this particular property, I know that the roof is going to have to be replaced, so we have to budget for that. The attic, I haven't gone in the attic, so I don't know, but based on the age of this house being, over 100 years old, I'm going to assume that things in the attic need to be replaced, like the trusses and the rafters, all these things, insulation, all that's going to have to be put in. So that's definitely something that I would factor in for evaluating my property when it comes to a flip. So we talked about preferred exit strategies. Remember, it's assigning, fix and flip, or long-term rental. As you all have seen with this property, it needs so much work. It wouldn't make sense for a rental for me. So what I would do with this property, it would be a fix and a flip. But as I said earlier, even if you're doing an assignment, you still need to know the things that fix and flippers are looking for, because you need to be able to budget that for your price that you're going to be assigning it for. And because you stayed so long in this video, I'm going to give you a gift. And I'm going to share with you the exact contract that I'm going to use to get a property like this under contract. So click the link in the description to be able to get that contract for yourself. And if you want to know how to make your money make money through real estate investing, check out the next video. Bye.